Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Michaela. Today we're going to be doing a eyeshadow tutorial for complete beginners. So what I'm going to be doing and showing you today is basically what I did when I first started out with my makeup. So I hope you enjoy and learn a few things. Let's get into it. So as you can see, I've already done my eyebrows and now I'm going to be getting onto the eyeshadow. You can choose to do your eyeshadow before or after you do your foundation and base and everything like that. For me personally, I like to do my eyeshadow just because, you know, it leaves room for mistakes and fallout and you can like wipe it away. And then once it's all done, then you can do your base, and I just feel like that it makes it so much easier. So the next step is to conceal your lid. Okay, that was really loud and abrupt. Can you be quiet? So the next thing to do is conceal your lids. Now, you can use any concealer, but for me personally, when I'm doing like a heavy eyeshadow look, I like to use a cream concealer and be really precise and like carve out my brow. If you're not doing that, you can just use a liquid concealer and just plop it on and then blend it up, but be sure not to mess up your eyebrow. You can use a brush like this, sorry it's already got product on it, an angled brush like this, and just carve out under your brow and then just paint the rest on. I'll show you. So carve out. Now once you have the shape carved out, I like to just drag it down from there and just cover the rest of my lid. And then I'll just go over my lid like that. And then you can just blend that out with a sponge. I'm going to do the other side. Now you can choose to blend this out two ways, actually three ways. You can blend it out with your finger, you can blend it out with a brush, or you can blend it out with a sponge. I'm going to show you two ways. I'm going to show you with a brush, and I'm going to show you with a sponge. It's stained and dirty, and I don't care. It's life. This is actually a concealer buffer, so that's the kind of brush you want to use. I personally prefer to use a sponge. That's what I like to use, but you can use whatever you feel comfortable with, whatever works best for you. So you can blend in circular motions, and I like to take it out to here because generally when you're applying, I like to take it out here because generally, I don't even know. Usually when you're applying hello, do I even know what I'm talking about? Usually when you apply eyeshadow, you tend to smoke it out to this sort of area. So I always like to, you know, take my concealer out here and yeah. So that side is all buffed now. I'm going to do the other side with a sponge. Okay, I've got my sponge here, my stained dirty sponge, and I'm just going to pat and blend that concealer in. Now when you're doing this, you need to be careful not to go over your eyebrows. I've done it so many times and messed it up. You can fix it, but it's just like really annoying. So yeah. You go as close as possible to where you did that carving out of the brow, but you don't go so close that it messes up your brow, if you know what I mean. So that's that done. Now you can choose to set your lids down. Now this used to be a thing that everyone did. Everyone used to set their lids down so that, you know, the eyeshadow just sits on top of a smooth, non-sticky base. But Recently a lot of people, including myself, have not been setting the base down, and the reason for this is because it's actually sticky and allows the pigment to cling on there, and it just makes it that much more pigmented. And just I'm not really sure exactly why people do it, but it doesn't make it patchy at all. I find that it has a really nice finish, and the eyeshadow just sticks on your eyelids so much better. The color payoff is better, so I don't set them down. But as you can see, the concealer will start to crease, so just before you apply your transition shade or your first shade of eyeshadow, be sure to get rid of that crease, otherwise the crease will kind of stay there. You can blend it out when you apply your eyeshadow, but usually I like to just quickly blend it out first. For the purpose of this video, I'm not using a high-end palette. I do have a few high-end palettes, but this is the exact palette. This is the BYS, just the BYS eyeshadow palette. It's a really cheap, affordable palette, and this is exactly the palette that I used to use when I first started out for makeup. This is pretty much my first palette ever. So for the purpose of this, I'm going to use a cheap palette just to prove to you that just because you're a beginner, you know, you don't need the most high-end, because you're a beginner and you don't want to practice using high-end stuff and just wasting your high-end stuff, if you know what I mean. Like, and honestly, I feel like when you practice with cheaper things, because it's cheaper, you have to work a little bit harder for it to work better, so you're getting more practice and you're essentially becoming a lot better. Because when I went to high-end stuff, because I was so used to the dodgy stuff, I could apply my high-end stuff really well, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, for the purpose of this, I just want to show you, you don't need high-end. You know, you're practicing, you're having fun, just use your cheap stuff. Don't waste your good stuff until you feel like, I am ready, girl, I am ready for that high-end stuff. So yeah, okay, when I first started out using eyeshadows, or doing eyeshadow, sorry, I tended to go, is that a word, tended? I don't even know. Anyway, when I first started out with eyeshadow, I more so went for like the brown, easy, smoky eye look, because that was just what I did. It was just so much easier. And I always started out, I went from a lighter brown and slowly worked my way up to a darker brown, just blending, okay? The first step to eyeshadow, and the #1 key to eyeshadow, is the blend. Just keep blending, just keep blending. Okay, like seriously, that is so important. It's like the #1, girl. That's all you need to know. I'm gonna get rid of this concealer line, and then I'm going to begin. So you want to start off first with a fluffy eyeshadow brush, okay? Because it'll just help so much. Oh my gosh, all my brushes are dirty. Don't mind me while I just clean them using a wipe. Beginners, I used to do it with sticky tape. Yeah. So in order to get that shape that I wanted, I always used to put tape on my eyes. I'm going to show you on this side with tape, on the other side with no tape. Okay, so I'm just going to put that on, and you can put it, you know, however you want the eyeshadow to be. Do you want it to be like this low? Or do you want it to be like this high? Do you know, I'm being dramatic, but you know what I mean. How I think I want the eyeshadow to sit. And it is hard because sometimes the tape doesn't like to stick, but you gotta try not to put your fingerprints on it, otherwise it won't stick as well. So there you go, you've got your tape, and it just creates a nice guideline. You can be as messy as you want, you can go over that tape and you take it off and you have that nice sharp line. So I always start from a light transition to a dark transition. This is what I did when I first started out with makeup. I still do it a lot now. I have, of course, different techniques, but this is just what I did in the beginning, and it helped me a lot. So a light brown shade, I would probably go for, I would have probably gone actually a color like this. If you have a slightly lighter one, that's perfect. So yes, So you want to dip into it and you want to always tap off the excess because it'll be way too powdery and pigmented. And you just want to start, you don't want to start on your lid, you want to start like where the brow bone is, if that makes sense. And you just want to go in swooping motions like this with a really soft hand. Do not press down too hard and don't be too soft. I'm actually, yeah, not too soft where you're like barely touching, but like just a pretty soft hand, not too hard, and just sweeping motions from the brow bone area, not on the lid. It's not even in the crease yet. It's kind of in the crease, but yeah. And just dip back into that color to build up the color, because that's exactly what you need to be doing, is just building up that color. So now you can sort of, because you've got a bit of transition on that brow bone, you can, still using the same color, go more so in the crease of your lid. I like to do my eyelids, what am I talking about? My eyelids step by step. So once I do this kind of step, I'll then continue this step on the other side and go back and forth. I don't do one complete eye and then do the other complete eye. I just find that's too hard because I'll probably forget a step, miss a step. I'll be like, oh wait, I did something extra here, but I can't remember what it was. So that's just how I like to do it, but everybody is different. So do whatever you feel comfortable with, whatever will work for you. I'm just blending out that concealer crease, and I'm going to do the same technique on the other side without the tape. And you basically want to just keep blending it, keep doing that motion until, you know, there's no harsh line, like it looks blended, and you'll be able to tell like if it's blended or not. And if you can't exactly tell, you know, you can always Google an image, be like blended eyeshadow versus non-blended eyeshadow, or you can ask someone you know who knows makeup well and be like, is this blended good? You know, there's always things you can go to see. And the number one key to, you know, becoming better at makeup is to just practice. I used to literally practice. I'm not a makeup artist. I'm not saying I'm a makeup artist, but I'm a lot better than what I was a few years ago. I used to only wear the bare minimal makeup. I wouldn't even do a full glam. My full glam makeup was a bit of powder on my face, a bit of mascara, like a line drawn from my brow, and a bit of lip balm. Like, I did not do heavy makeup. So, you know, I'm not saying I'm the best, I'm just saying I'm a lot better, and with that came practice, you know. So it's just a lot of practice. I would just go sit at my table at night time and just YouTube how to do an eyeshadow look and just follow it. Even if it won't look exactly the same because everyone's eye shape and face shape is different, but I used to just sit there and then take selfies and then take it off and go to bed. Like, I didn't have anywhere to go. I just practiced my makeup using my cheap stuff, you know, and that's all you need to do. Okay, so now that I've done that light color, I'm gonna start bringing in a deeper color. So I'll go into a deeper brown. So we were using this brown. I might start by using this brown, and this brown I will keep, it's the same fluffy brush just like this. I might start and just do that in my crease. I'm not gonna go, because this is your transition color, I'm not gonna go over that like up here on the brow bone. I'm gonna go in my crease, so a little bit lower this time. Remember, tap off the excess and those same sweeping motions, and just right in that crease. So obviously this side is going to be a little bit different because you don't have the tape there. So usually when I'm doing a look like this, you kind of can create the same shape with the brush. So see how the tape is already there, so I just kind of like, you know, I'm going over it. This side, I want to kind of create that shape. So when I do this side, I will go do this motion, but I'll also go like right on the outer edge and kind of do a bit of that motion, so it starts to create the shape like this and adds the depth of color right there. It's the same color, just building it up. Okay, so this is where you want to take a smaller brush because we want to be more precise in that crease and the outer corner of our eye. So you'll still take a fairly fluffy brush, but a lot smaller. So this is dirty. I'm gonna take this brush. See the difference? Like it's a little bit more precise, but it's still fluffy enough to be blended. I'm just gonna clean it off. This is literally what I do. I don't clean my brushes that often. When I go to use them, I just get a wipe and who cares? I'm sure a lot of people do it, so I'm not embarrassed. I really don't care. As long as the other pigment that was on there, which was obviously green, doesn't show through and ruin my next makeup look, then I'll be fine. So obviously our next darker brown shade is this one. So I'm just gonna dabble into that because this is a, you know, not an amazing pigmented palette. I really do need to get in there and tap off the excess, and then I keep going to say access, but it's not pronounced access, it's the excess. So yeah, dip into that, tap off the excess, and then go, you want to be right in the outer corner and right in that crease, and you just want to like, that's where you want the color to build, and still those sweeping motions, of course. So you can even start to go along your lash line to give that a bit of depth, if you will, because, you know, it's usually, an eyeshadow look is usually like, it goes the full on colors and then it's, you know, blended out. So you can even start to go along your lash line, but keep it in the outer V and make sure it's in that crease and it's nicely blended in there. So I'm just going to do the same steps on the other side, and remembering that shape you want to start to create because you don't have the tape. Alright, so you'll notice from doing that darker shade with a smaller brush, you've lost some of that blend. So I like to go back with that fluffy brush, and then you want to go back into that first colour that you started with, or an even lighter shade would probably be better. I'm actually going to go the lighter shade above, and you're just going to go over the whole thing, so over that brow bone, and you're just wanting to blend those colours back together, so that it has that seamless sort of effect, and it's not like there's just a dark patch, you know, just chilling there. You want to blend it out. On the other side, that light transition colour, and I'm just going to go over the colours, over the brow bone, and just blend them all together. So I'm feeling like this side is a little bit more dark, so I'm gonna just add some more of that deep shade onto this side, and just so I can even it up a bit. But it also may look that way because you don't have the crisp line from the tape, so you won't really be able to tell how dark it is until you get a wipe and clean it up. That's the reason for me wanting to do my eyeshadow first and not my base, because you're going to be using tape, you're going to be using wipes, you get fallout, and it just becomes too much, and you don't want to destroy your base like that. So I'm just going to blend over the top. So always coming back and blending is a key in what I did when I first started out, just coming back over the top and just blending it. Just going, oh, does that look like it needs a bit more blend? Just go back. Okay, so now we're going to get into an even deeper colour and deepen up just that outer edge pretty much. So we're going to take this brown shade here, I'm going to dabble into that, tap off the excess And then you just want to like apply it to your outer corner and really keep it small, using that same smaller fluffy brush. Really keep it small in that outer corner. You're kind of like going over your lid a bit more now. Just getting it, you know, deeper and going right on the edge here with that deeper shade. And a little bit in your crease, but not too crazy. Do the same on the other side. So what I'm doing here is I noticed there's like a harsh line forming, so sometimes I take the side of my brush and just like blend that harsh line away, and that can also help. Then what do you know, we're going to go back with that fluffy brush and we're going to go actually with that first colour, not a lighter shade, this first colour, and we're going to blend those colours together. We're going to go over it all and just make sure it's all blended over everything seamlessly. Don't take it too high up though, just keep it in the crease because you don't want dark shades going up near your brow bone. You want to keep your brow bone pretty light. Okay? And if you want to really blend out your crease, you can just go with nothing on the brush, or you can go with a really light shade. I'm just going to do it with nothing on the brush and just blend out the top of that and just make sure it's all blended. This is like a pretty basic eyeshadow look for beginners, but to spice it up and to make it look like, you know, you're not a beginner, you're a professional, you can add a pop of color on the center, and you can just use your finger. It doesn't have to be precise or anything of that matter. I use this green aqua shade here. You usually want to use a shimmer shade in the middle. So a way to apply shimmer shades, it usually works best with your finger. I don't know why, it just does. The formula of shimmery shadows just work better applied with your finger, but I can show you a way with a brush. So you want to grab a setting spray. This is one I made. If you have one that you bought, even better. And you want to spray that onto the brush, and then you want to dip into that shimmer shade that you want, tap off the excess, and you want to go on your lid like so. Just keeping it on your lid. You can go into the inner corner and smoke it out. Don't take it all the way out here. Kind of stop about midway, a little touch over midway, okay? I promise you. Just stop there. And I'm gonna do the other side with my finger. So I've just dipped my finger in there and I'm gonna go over my lid like so. This one's actually don't apply bad with a brush. I'm gonna go into that inner corner and out. Actually gonna get that brush again. So for packing shimmers, you want to use like a flatter brush. It can still be slightly fluffy, but a flatter one will help. So now what I'm going to do is, because this is not like a cut crease, I'm actually going to blend the top of the shimmer with the matte brown. So I'll just get the edge of this and just run it over a couple times, and that'll just blend it in. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is, let's go back to this brush here, okay? And we're gonna go and dip into that dark brown shade again, all right? And what we're doing here is we're blending our shimmer shade with our smoky brown shade, all right? So you wanna get it on there, whoops. And you want to basically pack right on the edge of where that shimmer shade finished, and you want to brush it inwards, okay? So pack it on the edge and brush it inwards. This just helps blending that transition. You can also, you know, smoke it out a bit more because you're taking an even deeper, darker shade. So yeah, there you go. And that just blended that color in with it. If you can see that, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm feeling like I need to blend it a touch more on the top. So I'm just going to do that. So I'm going to now, it's all done, our top half. So when you do your lower lash line and finish your eyeshadow look up, you do your base first. So I usually do this part and then I do my base and then I come back to underneath my eyes, okay? I'm going to take off this tape now and I'm going to show you that it created the perfect line. Look at that. Created the perfect line. I'm still going to clean up because there's a bit of concealer and there's still a bit of fallout under my eye here. And now I'm going to attempt, this is the hard part, and like clean up this side and make it even. So I usually get a wipe and I put it over my fingernail and I just slowly section by section take off the eyeshadow. So there you go. As you can see, for one, it's not even, but that's fine. People usually can't tell anyway. I don't think I've ever had my eyes perfectly even. It's a lot crisper on this side, but once you get once you do it, get a concealer brush and clean up that line and put your foundation on, the line looks just as crisp. So I'll blend that down. So as you can see, the line now looks just as crisp as this one, if not even crisper. So there you go. Now, highlighting your inner corner, very important part of eyeshadow look, and your brow bone. It just makes the whole look pop. So I'm gonna find a brush that I like to use. It's usually a pencil brush. I'm actually sadly missing my pencil brush that I like to use from inner corner, so I'm just going to take this little eyeliner brush. I'm going to spray it with setting spray and then I'm going to dip into, there's a shade here that I used to use for my inner corner. Oh my god, I didn't clean that brush properly. I'm just going to take that and literally highlight the inner corner. So when highlighting inner corner, you want to go, I don't know, it's pretty simple, you just put it on the inner corner. However you want to do it. Sometimes I do it really close, sometimes I like do it all the way out here. Depends how precise you want to be. And also I go a little bit on that lower lash line as well. And I just do that. The other side. So I'm not going to do my base, but for the purpose of this tutorial, I am going to do my bottom lash line and show you what I like to do. So working with your lower lash line, you basically want to work with those colors, but you want to work backwards. So you started off with a lighter shade. This time we're not going to do that. We start with the dark shade and then we go to the light shade, okay? And you want to take not so much fluffy brushes, but like packing brushes, basically, the tough little packing brushes. I have a packing brush like this. It's just a flat packing brush and I'm just going to use the edge of that and I'm going to go into that dark shade that we used. Tap off the excess and you're basically just going to, what's the word? Like dab it onto your lower lash line. Really close to that lower lash line you want to just pack it on there. Okay, and you want to do the same on the other side. Now with a less dense brush, but still quite smallish. So I'm going to use this brush that we used to pack on the lid shade. And I'm going to dip into that lighter brown shade now. You don't need to do as much detail on the bottom. Okay, I'm going to dip into that lighter shade, this one here, and I'm going to just blend it all. So what you want to do, you just want to blend it all. So you want to go just under that where you packed that other color, and you just want to blend it. So soft hand, soft blending, sweeping motions. Okay? Don't go all the way up here, just focus on your lower lash line. However it meets between these two is whatever it does. So there you go, it's like blended out, if you can see that. This eyeshadow look actually turned out a lot nicer than what I was expecting. This is, as much as you probably think this is not a simple look, it is simple, but I've dramatized it so that you can really tell what I'm doing, okay? So there we go. Okay, we're almost done, not quite. One last step, well not the last step is lashes or mascara, but the last step from the eyeshadow look is your waterline. Line that waterline. I didn't used to do this in the beginning, but it actually takes the look from a 7 to a 10, okay? Or a 10 to a 12, you know what I mean? Like, it's important. So you can do whatever color you want. A simple, basic, easy one to do would be black or white, depending on this look, on the look you've created. So this look, I'd probably do black, but if you want to do interesting, you can go green, you can go blue. If you want to keep it like an interesting sort of theme, I have this bluey green shade, and I might actually try that. So on the waterline, and I know it can be scary, but you do get used to it. So there you go. Can you see the difference that that makes? It looks a whole lot better than seeing your color, like a whole color look, and then hello, there's a bit of my skin color there. It's just weird to me. Done. So next step will be to curl your lashes. Very important. It preps them for lashes, it preps them for mascara, yada yada yada. So I'm just going to quickly curl them. Now, depending on how you're feeling, where you're going, what you're doing, you can use false lashes, or you can apply mascara. I'm just going to apply mascara. I'm just going to use my new Tarte mascara that I got. It has my little pendant M for Michaela on it. I'm just going to use that and see how it goes. Oh my god, guys. I almost didn't highlight my brow bone. That is so important. So, another cheapie. Don't need the best. This is just a single B Beauty eyeshadow thing. Go into that, tap off the excess, and just run that over your whole brow bone right there. You need that brow bone highlight. It just adds to it. Okay. Now we can get on to mascara or lashes, whatever you want to do. And I've made a few mistakes with the mascara, so I'm just going to show you a pro tip to get rid of that mascara. Okay. So let it dry for one. I've made mistakes all over my lid and under my lid. So the first step is to let it dry. Grab a spoolie, and then you want to just scratch over the mascara, and trust me, it won't ruin your eyeshadow. It'll literally just get off that mascara. and then you can be about your day. It works better over makeup. See, I don't have makeup under there, so it's not going to work as well there. But over makeup, it works really well. And that's done, guys. A look that looks really complex, made simple, made easy. Beginners can do it, anyone can do it. This is how I literally did my eye makeup in the beginning. I still use these techniques a little bit today. It's changed a little bit, but yeah, this is it, guys. If you liked it, please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye, guys. This is a good thumbnail. Is this a good thumbnail?